They tell you that to stay young, you just need to keep walking. It is a lie that is slowly stripping away your independence. If you are over 70 and your legs feel heavier every morning, going for a long walk is not building your strength. It is breaking down what little muscle you have left. I have watched thousands of older adults walk themselves straight into a wheelchair because they were given the wrong advice. Walking is cardio, not armor. And right now, your legs do not need cardio. They need armor. The truth that the medical community whispers but rarely shouts is that your muscles are starving and your daily walk is burning the very foundation keeping you out of a nursing home. We are going to stop the bleeding tonight. I am speaking to you because someone needs to tell you the unvarnished truth before gravity wins. I want you to walk this path with me. If you are tired of being treated like a fragile piece of glass, stay here. Subscribe to this channel, stand with this community, and tell me your age and where you are watching from in the comments below. Let us build a shield around your independence. We do not lose our dignity all at once. It does not happen overnight in a sudden dramatic crash. It is a slow, silent robbery that happens in the quiet moments of the afternoon. It begins with the armchair. You know the exact one I am talking about. The comfortable, deep fabric chair in the corner of your living room. The one that sinks down just a little bit too far. 10 years ago, you used to sit in it and rise without a single conscious thought. Then, one evening, you noticed you had to push off the armrest just a little bit harder. You rationalized it immediately. You told yourself you were just tired after a long day, or that the weather was making your joints stiff. But the brutal truth is, your foundation was already beginning to crumble. The decline whispers long before it shouts. You feel it when you approach a curb that seems just an inch higher than it used to be. You feel it in the hesitation before crossing a wet street, that sudden, sharp calculation of whether your knees will hold if you have to step quickly to avoid a turning car. Society tells us this is perfectly normal. Society nods sympathetically and hands us a cane, a walker, and a list of generic platitudes. They tell us to just be careful, to take it easy. But being careful is not a strategy for survival. It is a slow, agonizing surrender. I want you to think deeply about the physical sensation of gravity. When we are young, we defy gravity effortlessly. The earth pulls down and our legs push back with absolute authority. But as the decades pass, if we do not actively fight the decay, gravity becomes heavier. You feel it in the mornings. You sit on the cold edge of the bed, staring at your feet on the floor, and for a split second, you have to gather your courage just to stand up. That hesitation is not in your mind. It is a harsh biological reality. Your quadriceps, the massive engines on the front of your thighs, are shrinking. The clinical term is sarcopenia, but I call it the thief in the night. It steals the very tissue that keeps you out of a hospital bed. People tell you to go for a walk to fix this. They say, just keep moving. So you put on your walking shoes and you push through the neighborhood. But walking is a catabolic activity. That means it breaks tissue down. If you do not have the structural integrity to support your own joints, walking 10,000 steps is like driving a car with a rusted chassis over a bumpy dirt road. You are not building the engine. You are shaking the frame apart. The cartilage wears down, the tendons scream, and the muscle, which is already starving, gets depleted further. You come home exhausted, your legs trembling, and you think you have done something good for your health. But the next morning, getting out of that deep armchair is even harder. You are losing muscle mass with every step because you are asking a weakened structure to do the heavy lifting of a strong one. We have to stop accepting this silent decline as our inevitable fate. The fear of becoming a heavy burden to the people we love is the darkest shadow in the room. It is the thought that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. You do not want your children to have to physically lift you out of a chair. You do not want to see the forced smile and the hidden pity in their eyes when they offer you an arm just to cross the dining room. That fear is entirely justified. But the solution is not to walk endlessly until your joints give out. The solution is to rebuild the armor. And to do that, we have to look closely at the exact moment you are losing the most muscle, a moment that happens every single day, right under your nose. The greatest sabotage of your physical independence happens at a very specific time of day. It happens at the kitchen table, right around sunset. For decades, the mainstream medical advice has been to eat a light dinner. We are told that as we age, our metabolism slows down, so we should just have a simple bowl of soup, maybe some tea and a small piece of toast, or a meager salad before bed. This is the light dinner trap, and it is the single most destructive dietary habit for an aging body. When you eat that light, nutrient-poor dinner, you are sending a profound signal of starvation to your biology. You go to sleep and your body enters a fasting state for 8, 10, or 12 hours. But your body does not stop working. It still needs raw materials to repair your vital organs, pump your blood, and keep your immune system functioning while you sleep. Where does it get those raw building blocks if you only gave it tea and toast at 6 p.m? It steals them from the largest storage of amino acids you have. It steals them directly from your legs. While you are sleeping in your bed, your body is literally cannibalizing your quadriceps and hamstrings to keep the rest of your biological systems running. This is exactly why you wake up feeling incredibly weak. This is why the edge of the bed feels like the edge of a dangerous cliff in the morning. You are digesting your own independence night after night because you fell for the myth of the light dinner. You do not need less food because you are older. You need vastly more specific, targeted nutrition because your body is becoming highly resistant to absorbing it. This brings us to a critical turning point. If you do not change what happens before your head hits the pillow, no amount of exercise the next day will save you. You will just be breaking down muscle that never gets repaired. I have laid out the exact protocols, the precise nutritional shifts, and the morning routines that stop this cannibalization dead in its tracks. Because this information is so absolutely vital for your survival, I have placed a comprehensive step-by-step guide in the pinned comment right below this video. Go to the pinned comment, read it carefully, and start applying those principles immediately. It is the manual for taking your physical autonomy back from a system that expects you to quietly fade away. Think about the brutal reality of a fall. It is never just a simple fall. It is a catastrophic loss of identity. One moment you are living in your own home, making your own choices, maintaining your dignity, and the next moment you are lying on the kitchen floor, staring at the ceiling, waiting for an ambulance that will take you to a hospital you might never truly leave. A broken hip is rarely a bone issue first. It is a muscle issue. The bone breaks because the muscle failed to catch the fall. The muscle failed because it was thin, weak, neglected, and starved. The tea and toast did not give your legs the density required to stabilize your hip when your foot unexpectedly caught the edge of the rug. I want you to feel the heavy gravity of this truth. Every single evening that you choose the comfortable light dinner, you are signing a silent contract with frailty. You are telling your body that your leg muscles are not essential for your survival, but they are your absolute primary defense mechanism against institutionalization. We have to violently reject the notion that older age means eating like a fragile bird. You are not a bird. You are a human being fighting a daily, unforgiving war against physical decline. And to win that war, you need serious ammunition. You need to understand exactly what happens in the dark and how to turn the night from a time of silent destruction into a powerful time of reconstruction. The night does not have to be your enemy. The dark hours can be transformed into a forge, a quiet time where your body reinforces the steel cables in your thighs instead of unraveling them. To achieve this, we have to look at the deeply misunderstood biology of nocturnal reconstruction. The secret lies in a very specific type of dense, slow digesting raw material. When you consume fast digesting foods, carbohydrates, or even regular protein supplements, your body processes them rapidly. The nutrients spike in your blood and then they vanish long before midnight. But there is a different kind of biological building block. It is called casein. It is a dense, slow-releasing structural protein naturally found in heavy dairy, in rich cottage cheese, in thick Greek yogurt. When you consume this kind of heavy structural protein shortly before bed, it does not digest immediately. It sits in your digestive system, slowly breaking down, steadily dripping essential amino acids into your bloodstream hour after hour while you sleep. Imagine a slow, steady drip of liquid concrete reinforcing the crumbling pillars of an old bridge all night long. That is exactly what a slow digesting protein does for your legs. When your body goes looking for raw materials at 3 a.m. to repair your heart or your lungs, it does not have to strip the muscle fibers from your thighs. It uses the slow release fuel you proactively provided. You have effectively put a protective, impenetrable shield around your leg muscles. You stop the internal bleeding of your strength. But it is not just about the dairy. It is about the absolute non-negotiable necessity of hitting a high protein threshold every single day. The aging digestive system is stubborn. It is heavily armored against absorbing nutrients. When you were 30 years old, you could eat a small piece of meat and your body would absorb every single ounce of the protein. Now, you need almost double the amount of high-quality protein just to trigger the exact same biological muscle-building response. This phenomenon is called anabolic resistance. Your muscles have become deaf to the biological signal to grow and repair. You have to shout at them, and you shout at them by flooding your system with dense, high-quality amino acids, especially right before the long, dangerous fast of the night. I know this challenges everything you have been told by well-meaning professionals. You have been told to avoid eating late. You have been told to watch your cholesterol, to eat light, to be docile and fragile. But look at the devastating results of that advice. Look around at the people who followed it perfectly. They are frail, They are leaning heavily on aluminum walkers. They are terrified of a simple flight of stairs. If you want a vastly different outcome, you have to execute a vastly different strategy. You have to feed the muscle aggressively. The feeling of waking up after a night of true nocturnal reconstruction is entirely different. You sit on the cold edge of the bed in the morning. You put your feet flat on the floor, and when you push to stand, there is a distinct, undeniable solidity. The hesitation is gone. The knees do not tremble. The thigh muscles engage with a snap of authority. That feeling is dignity returning to your body. It is the physical, undeniable manifestation of independence. But nutrition alone is only half the equation. You have given the muscles the raw materials to stop shrinking, but now you must give them the harsh structural command to harden. You must demand that they become dense again. And we are going to do that without you ever having to walk another agonizing, joint grinding mile. We are going to do it tonight. We must completely redefine what movement means for an aging body. Forget the exhausting, breathless neighborhood walks that grind your cartilage to dust. We are going to use focused, zero-impact tension. Tension is the only language your muscles actually understand. When you apply deep, controlled tension, you force the dormant muscle fibers to recruit, to thicken, and to communicate efficiently with your nervous system. These three movements are not about sweating. They are not about getting your heart rate up. They are about sending a brutal, undeniable biological signal to your legs that they are strictly required to be strong. You will do these tonight in the absolute safety and privacy of your own home. The first movement is the isometric chair command. Go to that deep armchair that has been trapping you. Sit on the edge of the seat. Place your feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Now lean slightly forward and press your heels down into the floor as hard as you humanly can, exactly as if you were going to stand up, but do not actually stand. Just push the floor away. Feel the massive tension build instantly in your thighs and your glutes. Hold that maximum tension for 10 agonizing seconds. Breathe through it. Your legs might shake violently. Let them shake. That shaking is your nervous system waking up from a decade-long coma. After 10 seconds, release. Do this 5 times. You are teaching your brain how to fire the precise engines required to lift your body weight without putting any grinding wear on your knee joints. The second movement happens on the cold edge of your bed, the seated leg lock. Sit tall on the edge of the mattress. Slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until the knee is completely locked and the leg is perfectly parallel to the floor. Pull your toes back fiercely toward your face. Now, squeeze the muscle on the top of your thigh as if your life depends on it. Contract it until it feels like a solid block of wood. Hold that severe, cramping contraction for 10 solid seconds. Slowly lower it. Switch to the other leg. 5 times on each side. This isolates the vastus medialis, the crucial teardrop-shaped muscle right above your kneecap. That specific muscle is the primary stabilizer of your entire knee joint. When that muscle is weak, your knee buckles. When you harden it with this movement, you build an iron brace around your joint. The final movement is the supine pelvic drive. Lie completely flat on your back in bed. Bend your knees and place your feet flat on the mattress near your hips. Now, drive your heels down deep into the bed and squeeze your glutes together to lift your hips up into the air. Squeeze the back of your legs intensely at the very top. Hold that bridge for 5 seconds. Slowly lower down. 10 repetitions. This movement resurrects the posterior chain, the hamstrings, and the glutes, which are the massive hydraulic lifts of your human body. When you sit in a chair all day, these muscles turn off completely. This movement turns the absolute power back on. Perform these 3 movements tonight. Combine them with the slow digesting protein before sleep. You are no longer passively waiting for the decline. You are no longer accepting the quiet whisper of frailty. You are actively rebuilding the armor. The next time you sit in that deep armchair, you will not need the armrests. The next time you face that curb, you will not hesitate. You will step up with the absolute authority of a body that has been commanded to be strong. Your independence is not a fading memory. It is a biological choice you make every single day. Master your own steps.